Hello, I'm Sebastian Frey. I'm the founder of SellForSure.com and the owner of Realty World Virtuoso, and I'm here today to demonstrate our seller's net proceeds spreadsheet. This is an Excel spreadsheet which can be downloaded from the Homeowners Resources section of the SellForSure.com website. It is a free download, but you must be a registered user to get it. So it just takes a minute to sign up, and then you can get the spreadsheet. It does require Microsoft Excel to use, but you don't have to be an Excel genius to use it. It's very simple to use. And I'm going to go through it here very quickly to help you figure out how much money you're going to actually walk away with when you sell your home. This is the amount of money that's going to be printed on your check, which you then take to your bank and live happily ever after. Okay, a couple of things is that the cells which are in green here, these are the ones which you can edit. The ones which are in gray, like these ones, are calculated cells, and you cannot change those values. They are calculated automatically for you. All right, so without any further ado, let's just say that you are going to sell your home for $700,000, okay? Now you can see here that the estimated net proceeds is automatically being calculated for you. The biggest expense you'll have typically when you sell your house is your loan payoff. Let's just say that you owe $400,000 on your loan, and this money, this amount will come from your mortgage statement. Just get your most recent mortgage, and it'll have your unpaid balance. The actual loan payoff will be slightly different, but your escrow officer will calculate that for you. And then you can also find out how much interest you pay every month. That will also be on your loan statement. If you have an FHA loan, when you pay it off, they do require you to make an extra payment. Kind of unfortunate, but let's just say for the sake of argument here, there is no FHA loan, so you don't have to make that extra payment. Your bank's going to charge you a payoff statement fee and a reconveyance fee. We just have some placeholder numbers there for you of $60 and $65. If you have a prepayment penalty, you might have to pay that. Very few people actually have a prepayment penalty. But some people do have additional loans or liens they need to pay off, like a home equity line of credit. Let's just say that you owe $25,000 on a home equity line. That means your total debt payoff under this scenario would be $426,925. Now you go back to the summary tab right here, and you can see that the seller's loan payoff has been put in there for you automatically, and your net proceeds have now dropped dramatically. Okay, next tab is repair costs. We do find that most sellers want to spiff up their property and make repairs before putting it on the market because that's the way they can get the highest dollar for their property. And pursuant to that, we recommend you do a termite inspection because the buyer is sure going to do one if you don't. That'll cost you about $175, and we also recommend a home inspection to find all the little problems with your property you want to make sure you have either fixed or disclosed to the buyer. Let's just say that costs you $500. Now let's just say that your termite report did uncover some damage, and because you want to sell your property in tip-top shape to get top price, you want to do those repairs. Say they cost you $5,000. Also, you notice that your carpeting is a little, worn and torn and faded, and is not looking great, so you want to replace that. So that might cost you $5,000. Also, curb appeal is extremely important these days more than ever because so many buyers just drive by. You want to have your house looking absolutely great. So let's just say you want to invest $500 into getting the landscaping in tip-top shape. We also recommend that you paint your house unless it looks freshly painted. You should go ahead and do some painting. Let's just say that's going to cost you $3,000. And you might want to do some other stuff. Let's say you need some new blinds. You can put in window coverings for $500 and maybe a deep clean. You have your house professionally cleaned. That might cost you $500. And now your total repairs and report costs have been calculated for you automatically here as $15,000 approximately. Now that's about 2% of the sales price roughly. And we find that most sellers do end up paying between 1% and 3% of the final sales cost getting their home ready for sale. You can see here this goes into the repair fees thing on the summary page, and your net proceeds have dropped even further to $214,000. Okay, now let's go to the HOA tab. Not everybody has an HOA, but let's just say that you do in this case, and you're paying $250 a month. Now your HOA is going to charge you money to transfer the records from the old owner to the new owner, and let's just say they're going to charge you $150 for that. And they're going to charge you $100 to actually get all the HOA docs together, which is part of your disclosure package. So it's going to be $250 in HOA charges. You'll see that actually goes here as well, homeowner association. Now the actual dues, we're not calculating that as a cost because that's not really a cost of sale, it's a cost of ownership. Okay, now let's go into the title and escrow tab. The policy of title insurance is a charge that varies from title company to title company. Let's just say, though, in the case of a $700,000 property, you're looking at about $2,000 for the new owner's title insurance policy. And of course, they have a lot of other little fees they nick you for, like the payoff fee and recording fee and a documentary transfer tax fee. This right here is a calculated sell, but it is in green, which means you can change it because the seller doesn't always have to pay that, or they might not have to pay 100% of it. Although in most areas the seller does pay 100% of this fee. Title company wire fee. Now the total title fees in this case are almost $2,900. Now it depends on what county you're in. Some counties the seller will pay all of this, some they'll only pay half of this. So this calculates right here the seller's share of the title fees. And then of course there's the escrow fee as well. There's a base escrow fee, and they charge you some fee per $1,000 of sale price. In this case, I'm going to put $1.60 per 1,000 for a total escrow fee of about $1,300. And of course, the escrow company tacks on a few more fees of their own. You get a total escrow fee of $1,400 just about. And again, this varies by county. Sometimes the seller will pay 100% of this. Sometimes they'll pay 50% of this. Let's just say in both cases they're paying 50%. That gives a total escrow fee of $708 for the seller to pay. And then that means that the total seller's title and escrow costs come to $2,155. Now when we go back to the summary tab, you can see here that $2,155 has been entered for you automatically, and the seller's net proceeds have dropped even further. Now let's go to the miscellaneous tab. There may be a few other costs, like you might be paying for a loan discount point for the buyer. The buyer might ask you for some closing cost credits. In a hot seller's market, not too many sellers end up having to pay these costs. But let's just say that you did have to pay, $5,000 in the buyer's closing costs. And then sometimes the buyer will ask you to pay a home warranty. Let's just say you're going to pay them a $350 home warranty. Seller usually pays for a natural hazard disclosure. Let's just say you're paying $100 for that. There will be a notary signing fee, which your escrow company will charge you. So in this case, because you're paying a credit to the buyer, your total miscellaneous fees and charges come to $5,490. You can see that gets put here in the miscellaneous charges, and then your seller proceeds have dropped as well. Now you go over here to the last tab, which is the prorations. So when you own the property, there are some fees which you pay for an extended period of time that when the buyer buys that property, they'll refund you some of that money. Key among those is property tax. Let's just say that every 6 months you are paying $4,000 in property tax, and that's for 6 months, and then you are going to sell the property after 90 days of those 6 months, which means that the buyer is going to have to pay you back $2,000 of the $4,000 you have already paid. Now we did say that you have a $250 HOA fee per month, and that you're selling it halfway through the month in this example, which means that the buyer needs to pay you back $125 of the $250 you've already paid. Now let's just say there's a tenant in the property. So the tenant is paying $2,000 a month, and again they are going to be owning the property for 15 days. That means you have to pay the buyer $1,000 of the $2,000 rent which you have already collected from the buyer for that month. Okay, so now when you go back here to the summary tab, you'll see here that the prorations, this is money that the buyer is going to pay back to you, comes to $1,125 in this case. And that leaves a total estimated seller's net proceeds of $203,005. Now, one other thing that you can look at is the real estate broker fee or commission here at 6%. Of course, all real estate broker fees are negotiable, and they are not set by any standard whatsoever. So if you are working with a real estate agent who charges a lower fee, like say 5%, you should put 5% in there, and that will increase your total seller net proceeds up about $7,000 in this case. So that's all there is to this spreadsheet. I hope you have enjoyed this presentation and found it useful. Again, you can download this spreadsheet for free from the Homeowners Resources section of the sellforsure.com website. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. My email address at the bottom of the screen is broker@realtyvirtuoso.com, or go ahead, give me a call. My number is at the bottom of the screen too, 408 548 7348.